Hello everyone, today we're gonna show you about comparison about two phones. It is Sony Xperia Mini Pro and the other is Sony Xperia U. So let's begin.
Okay, we're gonna see the main feature from both of the phone. From the OS, we could see that both of the phone has the same default OS. It is Gingerbread Android. But for the Mini Pro, you could only upgrade it up to 4.0 or ICS. For the Xperia U, you can upgrade it it's just the same, the limit is the same, but you can try the Jelly Bean. I don't know the performance when you use Jelly Bean on Xperia U, but you can try it. The next is the CPU. The difference is that the Xperia U has a dual core 1 GHz CPU. The Mini Pro has only one core, and the speed is the same, the 1 GB. Next, for the memory, the internal have the same amount of RAM. It is 512 mega. For the Mini Pro, you have internal storage about is 400 mega, but the external memory you can upgrade it to 32 giga. For the Xperia U, the default storage or the internal storage, you will get 8 giga with 4 giga user available, but the phone itself doesn't have any external slot for external memory, so you just have that amount of memory. Next, for the display, the Mini Pro has a LED backlit LCD with a capacitive touchscreen and 16 million colors. The Xperia U, it has a TFT capacitive touchscreen with 16 million colors. It only has a small difference. It is in the size of the screen, and the Xperia U has advantage because it supports a multi-touch up to 4 fingers. Next, for the sound, the Xperia U has an advantage in feature. It has a Sony 3D surround audio technology, which is the Mini Pro didn't get that feature. Next, for the camera, we're gonna test the camera later. Both of the phone has a 5 megapixel camera. Both came with LED flash and autofocus and some features. The difference is that the Xperia U has a 3D camera and feature I don't know, it is not much different from the Mini Pro, but I think is interesting. The feature is 3D sweep panorama. We're gonna test it later. And
now we're gonna take a look the comparison of Sony Xperia U with Sony Xperia 10 Mini Pro. We're gonna test for the boot time. Which one is faster? Sony Xperia U or Sony Xperia 10 Mini Pro? And the winner is Sony Xperia U. But sometimes it depends with the application you have in that phone. Still, the winner is Sony Xperia U.
Okay, we're gonna test these two phones. It is the Xperia U. You see here, it has audio jack, and then this is the volume button, and then this is the power. This is the camera, and it has a LED flash. At the bottom this has something glassy that looks good on this phone, which is you can find it in Xperia. The Xperia has just like the other phones, style of buttons. Okay, now turn on these two things. Okay, alright. From when I push these two buttons, we can see that the Xperia U, the Xperia will be turned on faster than the Mini Pro. Maybe it's because the CPU, the Mini Pro has only one core, but the Xperia U has two core, and it makes a bit difference in speed. When I scroll, doesn't have too much difference, but I think, yeah, it's just the same for the scrolling. Now we're going to test the when I open an application. Let's see, we're going to open Temple Run, which is going to be faster than from both of these phones. Alright, I'm gonna see and push this at the same time. Yeah, it takes a long time to open an application for Mini Pro. So from this point we can see that the CPU difference make a huge time difference from both of the phones. The dual core CPU makes it faster to open an application. I'm gonna just exit this application. Yeah, the speed is much different for both phones. Still, the Xperia U has a faster time than the Mini Pro. Next, we're gonna test the camera. See the camera. Alright. I'm gonna test the camera for Xperia U. So I don't change the settings, but it's just still same. Alright. Going to see the preview. Here is the preview for Xperia U. You could see here. And then I'm going to test for the Xperia Mini Pro. Okay. Yeah. We're going to take a picture from Xperia Mini Pro and let's see the difference. Alright, going to compare both of the quality. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so we could see that because the difference in display, we cannot see the true difference when we taking a picture, but we could see that maybe because the size 5 megapixels is just the same, I think the display will be just the same for the quality. But when you see it in this phone, we can see that you can see that Xperia Mini Pro has version on the settings. Okay. could see that not too much difference. The Xperia in this phone has Android version of 2.3.7 and this Xperia Mini has a 2.3.4. We could see that from when we open an application, for example, it's Temple Run. It takes longer time for the Xperia Mini Pro to run this application. We can conclude that the CPU difference makes some time difference for the Xperia Mini to run an application. It takes longer. Okay, so from Xperia Mini, it has a QWERTY keyboard, not like the Xperia, which is you will use the keyboard at the screen here. It doesn't too much make too difference, but maybe with this keyboard you can type message faster. Gonna test it for the message. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to use notes for testing the keyboard. Where is it? Okay, here's the note. To test it, the keyboard, as you can type faster with this keyboard than using the touchscreen to type text messages or anything to type. Yeah, anything. Yeah, it's much comfortable for me to use the keyboard at the Xperia Mini, but I think it depends on the user how to use it. Maybe other people will be more comfortable to use the keyboard at the screen. Yeah, so I think for both of this phone there's not too much difference from the display or when you're scrolling through the menus, but when you're running an application you will see the time difference because the CPU, the Xperia has the faster CPU, and it makes the Xperia has more advantage for performance than the Xperia Mini.